All right, welcome to Coach's Corner. We're going to start all over again here. So this is the second boss we're going to be going through. A lot of the footage is from the beta, but we'll be giving you guys a brief explanation of how to do this boss, more or less, so you don't wipe the raid and you know the mechanics going forward. All right, so this boss is Mother. And the most important thing about Mother is that it is an acronym for Matron of Tenacity, Herald of Endless Research. For those of you that are nerds and need to know what the acronym stands for. But this is Mother. It's a fairly fun encounter. We're going to go through the explanations of the encounter here, a bit of a kill slash wipe video, and it goes through pretty much all of the little mechanics and things you should see. So we're going to go through them one step by step, and things you should go through. There are two fundamentals to raiding. Number one is stand in the right spot. Number two is kill ads. This fight is exactly those things. This is, every single one of these bosses are stand in the right spot, kill the ads, win. That's it. If you can do those two things, you can kill any of these bosses, guaranteed. So we're going to start off with Mother here. This is Mother. We're going to pull it up here for you guys. All right, so they're going to start off with Mother, and going into Mother, it's a multiple phase encounter technically. She has a frontal attack for the tanks to deal with. She has a number of different abilities that you will see going through it here. She's got her frontal little cone. When she gets to 100 energy, she also has these little circles on the ground. So you know what? Don't stand there, right? It is a positional issue. Now, there's different strats of dealing with this. Some are, let's stack the entire group together and then everybody shifts together. Other ones are just spread the hell out. Whatever works for your raid team, do it that way. So here they spread out. Again, you can see her energy going up really close here. So it's 30, and then every 100, she'll be doing that next ability. Now, the important thing about Mother is she has a timer right here. This little right side thing. When that fills up, it kills everybody in this room. So you as a group, as a raid, need to go into the next room. So you can see the rooms here on the next side periodically. The thing is, for every person that transitions into this little next room, that blue line, the raid takes damage plus takes an increasing damage debuff. So you take more damage for every person that goes through for the next 6 seconds. If you guys remember doing Sisters, you remember Sisters back in TOS? Similar mechanic where you were running through that beam, whether it was light side or moon side and sun side or whatever, lunar and sun. Same kind of thing. Except there's the stacking debuff, which means you can't just pop all your cooldowns and run the entire raid across. You will have to stagger it through the entire raid. So as part of your group keeps going through, typically it'd be a tank, 2 DPS, a healer going through it, you'll be dealing with ads in the next room. For every single person that passes through this blue shield, you will be spawning an ad. That ad needs to be killed, stunned, interrupted. In addition, this first little room phase is a fun one. She has winds. You've seen this ability plenty of times before, except there's this big massive furnace on the back here. If you run into it, it kills you. The winds do alternate, and again, you're dealing with all these little abilities of dodging that stuff, as well as her frontal attack. Her energy is charging up to 50, so again at 100 you're going to have that explosion. And here they are staggering who's going in. We're typically going to be standing in 3 people at a time. The first people will have to be stronger, interrupters, stunners, whatever, and then you'll be sending healers over. Now the thing is, again, this is line of sight. If you're in this second room, you can't be attacking Mother. So it's important to really stagger at the rate, at which rate you want to be doing these transitions. So in a smaller group, they may want to do at a later energy. A larger raid size, for those of you running 30-person raid sizes, may want to start almost right away of 1, 2, 3. Next group. When the debuff expires, 1, 2, 3, and just go from there. So here's the next ability here, and here you can see what the energy level. So the energy level is actually pretty low. It's I think 35 at this point, and they're going to be doing that last, or one of the last transitions. Debuff expires here. They've got the last, I think, 4 or 5 people. This guy, this Ret Paladin, will be one of the last ones over. So you can see here he pops. I don't see his debuffs up here, but he pops it and does raid-wide damage, as you can see here on the left side of his screen. And then these little red circles, they turn into ads. Eventually, the tank will be the last one dragging the boss over into the next room, where she goes into the next sort of little phase. All right, so here we're going through more of it. Again, we're killing those ads. The ads are a priority. So if there's ads up for the boss, you kill the ads. You interrupt them, you stun them, you do whatever. You don't let them get a cast off. If that cast goes off, it's going to murder people. So do not let them finish off their cast. These little remnants of corruption, NECCs work. Yeah, just blow them up. Interrupt them whatever you can. Now, the other little fun part is in this room, she also has beams of death, right? So she's this Herald of Endless Research, right? She's the Matron of Tenacity, whatever. But she has these fun little beams. You can see them spawning on one side. It gives you, plenty of room for even a Tauren to fit through. Gnomes cannot fit through this. Unless you're a gnome, please go ahead and try. But yeah, they can't fit through here. So the entire raid must fit through that little section. Otherwise, it's going to take massive damage. You can see here, this was, I believe, on Heroic. This, I don't think it's going to kill you. These guys got lucky with HP, gear, whatever, shields, and they survived through it. So with a personal, you can't survive through it, but ideally, you dodge it properly, and you don't get hit by those kinds of things. All right, so here they're going through it again. They're going to start staggering again. Same ability from the first phase. She has that thing for you to dodge, and then winds are going to happen very soon. There you go. There's winds, and the furnace is on the other side. So what some groups do here is they will have a gateway. So as they're being pulled back, you can see they're getting pulled back, and some of these guys will gateway across to get back into the next section. If you have a warlock, absolutely do that every single room. It makes things a lot easier. This next section is the Uldir defense beams. With these ones, it tells you the safe spot. It says, hey, stand in this line. If you're not standing in this line, you're going to die. Because these beams also come up from the sky. So she's, if you've seen those horror movies where they slice through people, same kind of thing here. He looks up. That's where it's coming from. She's tanked down below. And beams go through. And you're safe, right? And then you shift off. So this is the other strat that some guilds may employ for dealing with the little flame circles, is they will just stack everybody in a line and then shift across. It's also a really nice one, and hopefully everyone is quick enough to deal with that kind of stuff. So, like Jarathi here says, you do want to spend as much time in each room as possible, because if you spend too little time, then the boss will be too high HP in the final room, because you eventually run out of rooms. So here again are the beams. That frontal attack. Again, tanks are doing their tank swap. Again, here they're shifting over. Now, a lot of guides will also say, hey, use this little wall section, because this little lip, you can actually get pushed back against it. Here, or I believe here, you can get pushed back against it, and you will not get knocked back. So if you're getting pushed back, and you're getting pushed back against the wall, you can cast freely, right? It's not interrupting your casts. We'll see if that goes live, and if there's been any terrain changes, or whether it just forces you to slide off rather than stay flush against the wall, or even in this section here. So we'll see. Don't plan on it. Plan on using it properly here. There you go. Cube Knowledge. Thank you. Great movie. So here again, going through the Bloods. Mother activates defense beams. They're standing in right here. In the circles where it is safe. So you can see here the raid is split. Well, the raid is actually dealing with both mechanics, right? So this room is dealing with the same mechanics as this one. And you can see here they're both on the same side, which means they're both groups are in a line right now. We're going to dodge these defensive beams. And this group, I mean, as people are running over, again, they're killing these ads. Look how quickly they die. With all the people over, once the majority of the raid is over, they should melt. And then once she's in her last little phase here, she's going to start melting. She's doing her sanitizing strikes. This is the point where they're hero. So she takes 100% more damage, I believe it is. She gets absolutely murdered in that last phase. Save your cooldown, save your hero, whatever you can for that last phase. But the lower Mother is in this last phase will make things so much easier for everybody. So again, you're dealing with the same kind of stuff here. Defense beams, same thing you've seen from the first two platforms. Again, you're killing those Bloods. You're going to deal with winds in a second here. So again, gateways are already set up. Good little warlocks getting pushed back. At the same time, they want to blow her up. So we want to minimize how much you're moving. Dodge those things. This poor little paladin always bites it. And they're blowing it up. So again, defense beams, bring her in here. You want to murder her as quickly as you can, because that third one, once it does fill up, you are going to wipe. So you want to get her as low as possible. And that's why you want to really delay each room. Right, so if you go from one room to the next room really quickly, she'll be at a really high percentage of hit points, and it'll be that much more difficult to kill her, because there's so many more mechanics, right? Especially in these later phases. Yeah, I mean, this may murder LFR. We'll see. I think it'll just tickle LFR at this point, and none of the mechanics will actually do any damage. But yeah, it's certainly going to murder a lot of people going to Alpha the first week. There goes the Paladin. There he goes. And he died to fire. Don't do what this Paladin did. He had a horse or a bubble available to him. He should have used those, absolutely. So I'm going to burn her down here. Again, people got hit by those beams, but it gives you the safe spot, right? It tells you, stand here to be safe, but it even draws a little circle for you. But people decide not to do that. Again, and this is on heroic difficulty, tuned to around 355, 360 item level. There they go, and then they killed Mother. But that's Mother in a nutshell. Pretty fun boss. We haven't seen many of these. It's nice to see some newer mechanics, some fun mechanics, but you guys should have a fun time in these bosses. Anything else to add? Is the safe spot from the ceiling always the same spot? I believe it may alternate. I'm not sure. I can't tell you with certainty whether it'll be the same spot each time, but I believe it'll be one of those side positions. And the other thing to note is some of the abilities do overlap. So you'll see on some of these abilities that, let me pull it up here one more time, is that they will overlap. Right, so you'll have flames happening, and then you'll have the energy hitting really high here in a second. Her timer was actually a little energy at what level is a little off. But yeah, there's defensive beams. So yeah, you're going to overlap with the winds and everything else going at the same time. So just make sure you have your stampedes or your speed boost or whatever for those kinds of things. So yeah, it can overlap with events. It'll be close, but we'll see. It may be on the other side as well. But I think it's generally just the one little section that will spawn those little safe spots. All right, and that is Mother in a nutshell, otherwise known as Matron of Tenacity, Herald of Endless Research. Again, fun boss, dodge the stuff, stand in the right spot, kill the ads. That's what every boss comes down to. All right, fantastic. And we're going to move on to next boss. If she reaches full energy, is it the room wipe? Yeah, it does 124,000 damage per second. If you pull up the dungeon journal here for Mother, it is absolutely going to annihilate. Where is it? Not remnants. Purifying flame. There, and that's. I mean, oh, they must have. Yeah, it's going to kill you pretty quickly. It was 120,000 damage something earlier. Oh no, that's sorry, the other vents. I'm looking at the wrong one. Cleansing Purge. There we go. 122,000 damage every second. So yes, it'll murder you if you're not out of there. Be out of there before the energy gets high. Thank you. Thanks for that clarification. All right, that's a good one.